So you're a medical student, and you have this incredible research idea. Getting that proposal approved is a massive step, right? But what if I told you that most rejections happen for the same few completely avoidable reasons? Today, we're going to break down those common mistakes, those proposal killers, to make sure your great idea actually gets the green light.
So let's just ask a tough question right up front. Is your research proposal, as it is right now, actually set up to fail? I know, that's a bit of a scary thought, but stick with me. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to make sure the answer to that question is a very confident no. For all you medical students out there, especially here in Sri Lanka, a solid proposal is your ticket to doing really important, impactful research. But the frustrating part is that far too many promising ideas get turned down. And it's not because the idea is bad, it's because the proposal itself falls into a few common and fixable traps.
Okay, so what's our game plan? First, we're going to look at the challenge of rejection head-on. Then, we'll break down the three biggest proposal killers: the unfocused idea, the weak blueprint, and what I call the sloppy pitch. And finally, we'll pull it all together to give you a clear path to getting that approval. Ready? Let's go!
All right, let's dive right in. Section 1, the challenge of rejection. We need to understand why so many of these proposals fail before we can fix our own.
And that brings us to the first and maybe the biggest proposal killer of them all. Flaw number 1, the unfocused idea. This is all about learning how to turn that big, vague notion in your head into a sharp, viable project.
Okay, take a look at this. This right here perfectly illustrates the number 1 mistake. On the left, you've got a study of diabetes in Sri Lanka. I mean, it sounds important, but what does that even mean? It's huge, it's vague, and a reviewer has no idea what you're actually planning to do. Now look at the right. Wow. Assessing the efficacy of metformin versus lifestyle changes for newly diagnosed type 2 diabetes patients in the Kandy district. See that? It's sharp, it's specific, you know exactly who they're studying, where they're studying them, and what they're measuring. That's a project you can approve.
So you might be asking, okay, how do I actually get that focus? Well, it's a pretty straightforward 4-step process. 1, identify a specific problem, not just a big topic. 2, define your population. Who exactly are you studying? 3, set your context, the where and the when. And 4, this is a real pro tip, go look at the conclusion sections of recent research papers. They will literally tell you where the research gaps are that you can fill. It's like a cheat code.
But listen, being focused is only half the battle. You also have to justify why your specific study even matters. And that really comes down to 2 things: originality and importance. For originality, how is your study new? Maybe you're looking at a known issue, but in a totally new context, like a specific Sri Lankan province. For importance, you have to ask, who will this help? Patients? Doctors? Your proposal must make it crystal clear that your research is both brand new and absolutely necessary.
All right, let's move on to the second major flaw. I call this one the weak blueprint. This is all about making sure the structure of your proposal is solid as a rock.
You know, the best proposals have what experts call a golden thread running through them. It means your aims, your objectives, and your research questions are all perfectly linked together. If they're not, the whole project just falls apart. For example, if your overall aim is to reduce hospital infections, then a specific objective might be to test a new hand-washing protocol. And the research question would be something like, does this new protocol reduce infection rates by more than 15%? See? Aim, objective, question. They all line up perfectly. And the foundation of that whole blueprint is captured perfectly right here. In academia, your opinion doesn't mean anything without evidence. You must stand on the shoulders of giants. I love this quote because it gets to the absolute heart of all research. Your great idea has to be built on the solid work that has already been done.
So, what does standing on the shoulders of giants actually look like in your proposal? Well, it means you base every argument on existing literature, not just a gut feeling. It means you use recent top-quality sources, but you also show you know the classic foundational papers in your field. And here's the real sign of a top-tier student. Show that you've looked at both sides of an argument. It proves you've really thought about this, not just cherry-picked sources that agree with you.
Okay, once you've established the why, your methodology section has to nail the how. A reviewer is going to be reading this and asking a bunch of questions. What's your research philosophy? Is your approach quantitative or qualitative? What's your exact strategy for collecting data? How on earth did you justify that sample size? And what's your plan for analyzing it all?
You need to be so clear and detailed that another researcher could basically replicate your entire study just by reading the section.
Okay, focused idea? Check. Strong blueprint? Check. But you can still get tripped up by this final flaw, which I call the sloppy pitch. This is all about professionalism, and you guessed it, planning.
This is something you have to get into your head right now. Your proposal is not just some rough draft you're handing in. It is a professional pitch. You're asking someone to invest their time, their money, and their reputation in you. Little things like spelling mistakes, bad grammar, a messy layout, they can completely destroy your credibility before the reviewer even gets to your amazing idea.
And a huge part of being professional is showing you have a realistic plan. This is where something like a simple project plan or a Gantt chart like you see here is worth its weight in gold. It shows the committee you've actually thought through the timeline. You know how long the literature review will take, when you'll get ethics approval, how long data collection will take. It proves your project isn't just a cool idea, it's an achievable one.
And finally, please don't fall at the last hurdle by ignoring the simple rules. Every university has a checklist, even if it's an unwritten one. Are you using the exact referencing style they asked for? Have you double-checked the formatting rules for fonts and margins? Are you under the word count? Are you using their official template? Ignoring these little things screams lack of attention to detail, and that is the last thing you want a reviewer thinking.
So now that we've broken down all the ways you can fail, let's put it all back together. Let's talk about your path to success, your path to getting that yes.
It all boils down to avoiding these 3 proposal killers. Number 1, the unfocused idea. Your job is to be narrow, specific, and to justify why your specific question matters. Number 2, the weak blueprint. Weave that golden thread of alignment through your entire plan and build it on a solid foundation. And number 3, the sloppy pitch. Be professional, have a plan, and follow all the rules.
Look, when you actively avoid these common pitfalls, your proposal it transforms. It stops being just a good idea, and it becomes exactly what every review committee is hoping to see: a clear, compelling, and totally achievable plan for important medical research. And that really brings us to our final thought. The work you do, the research you start as a student, it really could one day change clinical practice and save lives. So the only question left is, what important question are you going to ask first?